Welcome to This is a Revolution, your weekly RevPro podcast here on Cromwell Wrestling. I'm George, joined always by my good friend, Mr. Dave the Mark. Dave, how are you, my friend?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. I probably sound a little bit croakier and I always sound grumpy at this time of day, but we are recording Saturday morning because we
We
both
are.
had mega busy real life work weeks and stuff, right?
hmm
So I've got my beautiful little espresso with me in my beautiful little Le Creuset espresso mug that my wife
Oh
bought
my
me,
God.
and then to top it up, I've got a matching big one.
Oh, mate, what are you like? I've
Mate, I don't know when I became like some kind of middle class snob, like working class lad from East London, raised in Essex, like with my little Le Creuset mugs.
it
Um,
happened. It
we can
happened
enjoy
so,
the
mate.
finer things,
I was
aren't
I
we?
was gonna say like you might be a working class lad from London, but mate, you find you a wanky little cafe somewhere with
Mate,
yeah.
100%. And when I find myself texting the missus in the week, being like, "I want to do a bit of cooking tonight, love. Can you get me some Gruyere cheese, please?" Like then I know I'm like we didn't have types of cheese when I was a kid.
No,
There was one
get
type of
the cheese out the
cheese.
fridge. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Occasionally we'd get the red one.
I was just gonna say you'd either get the one or you'd get red Leicester,
Yeah, it's
mate.
like we've got the red cheese or the yellow cheese. These are the two types of cheese in our house.
My mind used
Yeah.
to be blown on the odd occasion my mum would get Edam. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like
What
with
is
this
this?
red. Yeah, what's this exotic stuff? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, this is what happens.
How's your
Yeah,
week been, bro?
yeah, good, good. Work has been busy. It's been so towards the tail end of last year, I used a lot of holiday, like on odd days here and there. So this was my first full 5 day work week since second week of November.
That's nuts.
Yeah, and it came hard, I can tell you that. But it's good. It was full on. I went to a band on Wednesday, which was amazing. But
Who'd you see?
I saw the Wonder Years, who are
I've
a
heard of them.
pop punk emo band.
Are
That
they?
kind of
They've been knocking around for quite a long time.
they have been. A lot of wrestling fans who, if they don't know them, but if they watch Progress, they might know them as the band that do the Kid Lykos theme tune, or what he uses as his theme
Hey,
in Progress. Um,
that might be
that-
where I
yeah,
heard them.
they are fantastic. It's a band that I had tickets for them like 8 years ago, and really interestingly, I was flying out to Copenhagen to go see Metallica. But the night that I was flying out was the night of the gig in London. So me and the missus went to London and we got a hotel for the night because the morning we were getting the Heathrow Express off to go to Copenhagen. So we went to this hotel and to say it was old is an understatement, right? So we got to the room and do we have like a key card to get in the room, Dave? No. We had a physical key to get in and out of that room. So in that moment, I had the choice of do I leave the door unlocked all night and go to the gig while she's there in the room? No. Do I ask her to wait up for me? No, because I know she likes a bit of an early sleep. And if I told her, hey, we're getting up at 4 to get across to Heathrow, and at this
Oh
point
God, yeah, yeah.
that I need to get you up at gone 11 o'clock to let me in the room. No, wouldn't want to do that. And also, the other option was locking her in the room and taking the key because it only had one key available for us. So none of these options suffice. So literally on the night of the gig, like 8 years ago, I had to get no, not going to that gig.
You're a
Um,
good husband, my
so
friend.
I've tried all these years later. I've been like every time they come over, I don't know why I've missed them a few times. So yeah, this time I was like jumping on it. It was a 10-year anniversary tour of one of their best albums. So I was able to
Nice.
go and see that played in full, hear a bunch of songs that I love being played. It was a great night, great crowd as well, great venue. It was a venue called Prospect Building in Bristol. Really, really odd. You go there and it's like you get like the big white tents like you do at a festival and they're searching your
Hmm.
bags and you go in and I can only say it's like Mad Max meets industrial estate meets festival outside bar area. It was so weird and like dystopian, but quite a cool vibe as well. And then you go in, yeah, you got these great venue rooms. lockers to go put all your stuff in for free and all. It was just a cool place to be.
Ooh.
But this is why we've ended up bumping the podcast a day or two. I bought myself some Doc Martens at Christmas, and and I know Sharon will be listening to this, right? And Sharon, I know I'll be getting a message from Sharon being like, "Told you so." Okay, so she was telling me to heed the warning of break them in, don't do too much in them, don't be too strenuous. I'm like, okay, cool, I won't. So I've wore them in once.
But you walk like a maniac.
Right, okay, so this is where I will caveat this, right? So I wore them once around the house, and that was it. And I thought, you know what? I don't have too far to go with this gig. I've got 5 minutes from my hotel in Bath to the train station, 15 minutes from Bristol Temple Meads to the venue, standing in my spot for the gig all night because I'm not one necessarily that wants to go and like dance around all the time. Like I just sometimes don't mind just stand on the outside a little bit, and then 15-minute walk back to so effectively 40 minutes of walking in total. Right, that's all I had. I thought that won't be too bad. So I
And
get
for you.
yeah. So I got there, got to the gig. Everything was absolutely fine. Feet felt wonderful all night. And about 5 minutes into my walk back, I started to feel the rubbing on the back of my feet. And long story short, by the time I got back to the hotel, they'd rubbed a little bit. I was kind of like shuffling as I was getting back, but no more so than when you just get a normal pair of trainers and they rub for the first time. I'm like, okay, success. I was expecting my feet to be shredded. They've got the tiniest little marks on them. But on my left foot, for some reason, the where it rubbed on Thursday night, I was getting it was almost like just like little jolts of pain from it all night. And the best way I could describe it to anyone, it was like electric shocks. And I think it was just when you get like a little bit of pain, you just wince. And
Yeah, yeah.
it was doing that so regularly that I ended up I went to bed at 11. I was still awake at 2 p.m., which ended up involving me going back downstairs. All of this. I didn't actually go to bed and fall asleep until gone 4:30 yesterday
Oh, yeah.
morning. Then did a full
Closer to
day.
getting up time than going to
Yeah,
bed time.
exactly. Did a full day's worth of work, so I was really happy last night to like go to bed, get some sleep, but it was still giving me a bit of jip. But I suppose the moral of the story here is, even when I think I know better, even when it doesn't hurt as much as I thought it would, it still fucking finds a way to do the damage to me afterwards. And I know
Yeah.
Sharon will be saying, "Told you so." So
Yeah.
if
Listen to
I was
Sharon.
gonna say if truer words can never be spoken, listen to Sharon. Yeah.
Well, mate, we're going to talk some wrestling, and we're going to talk about. Well, I suppose we're going to talk about Sheffield last week, and we can talk about
Mm.
Coventry tomorrow. But if ever there were shows that our Sharon would be very excited for, it's the one we just had and the one we've got. Because when I saw Mills and Joshua drop versus Shane Hook and Leon Cage, Rising Tide,
Yep.
I thought, blimey, Sharon's going to absolutely pop her socks off for that, isn't she? I'll be
Oh
shocked
yeah.
if she doesn't make the trip to Coventry tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. She will be there. She's got to be there. Like that is.
What did you think of the Sheffield show?
I really enjoyed it. There was a few issues at times with Red Pro on Demand, so it kind
Yeah.
of took me out at times. And hey, look, this happens right in these venues where they might work and then Wi-Fi issues and whatnot can just occur. Like that's fine, it is what it is. So that did take me out a little bit at times, and I haven't had the chance to go and rewatch the show. But what I saw, I really liked. I thought it was a really strong show. A lot of stuff going on. What I feel like we've got this year already, more than this time last year, is lots of story progression going on.
Yeah.
So last year, I think what would be fair for me to say in certain divisions was there was only one thing going on at
Hmm.
times. Like maybe one little bit in the women's division, one in the tag division, one in the cruiserweights, but there seems to be pockets of stuff popping off everywhere at the moment. So
Yeah.
which I really like and really appreciate.
I think last year as well, like this time last year, we were obviously in that dry January period where they took the month off. And when it came back in February, it was like a hard reset in the sense that all the storylines had kind of been paid off, so it was time to start new stories.
Mhm.
And with that is quite a slow build. So the first couple of shows were like really entertaining, but there wasn't those like takeaways to talk about in between matches. Whereas this year, it's like, okay, we've just started 2026, and it's like, well, we kind of never really stopped because there was Uprising, and then, yeah, there was a week off for Christmas, but then it was back to Seasons Beatings, which was very much like a canon show. It wasn't a, fun Christmas family day out that's not really that important. You don't need to watch it. It was like, no, very much stuff's happening you need to know about.
Yeah.
And then straight into London, straight into Sheffield, straight into Coventry tomorrow, a week off, then back to London. Like that kind of almost relentless schedule means that we've got these storylines which are just constantly evolving. But yeah, you're absolutely spot on, mate. The fact that we've got like multiple things happening, not just in like before we've had it where it's like there's a men's title feud, there's a men's feud happening, there's a women's title story, there's a cruiserweight story, and we've been praising that because we're saying, cool, they're hitting all the championships all at once. Plus, we've got this interesting thing between Zazaya and Jay Joshua. But this year, it's like, well, we've got the stuff with like Lando in the cruiserweight division, but then like Buzzard's got his own storyline going on with Caven in the cruiserweight division.
Yeah.
And then you've got kind of like a little one with Leon Cage where the lad's not quite catching a break at the moment, which is not necessarily like a big story in itself, but it's a development in his arc.
Yeah.
And you've got the kind of how does Nino bounce back from losing the title, which again isn't much of a storyline yet, but is something for the kind of like the proper marks that like to explore everything to like really dig into.
Yeah.
With the women, we don't have much with Windsor at the moment, but we know that there's the Windsor Cutthroat Collective stuff.
Yeah, Windsor is
and
coming.
Tomorrow we've got a Cutthroat Collective match, so are we picking that up there?
Yeah.
But we've got the Skye and Amira stuff. We've got Alexis Falcon and Kanji. Melissa Fierce comes back again tomorrow, so there's some investment now. Like first time, it was like, cool, let's watch Melissa Fierce. Never seen her before. And then it's kind of like, now do I kind of forget about her now until next time? We've seen random people pop in. We saw Artemis and Ronnie Knox and Evie Madden and people like that. LA Taylor, like they need to come in a few times for you to really kind of start to care.
Yeah,
and she's back straight away. So you're like, oh, okay, cool. I'll pay extra close attention this time.
Yeah, exactly. And
then obviously, like the men's division always has multiple stuff going on because most of the British wrestlers available seem to be, booked for the heavyweight because they're building up for main event wrestlers. So there's always 2 or 3 things there. So I'm really happy with where we are.
Same.
I loved Sheffield. I loved it a lot. I've talked before about how I like wrestling shows to run. I like it when it mixes it up sometimes and you get the odd, like, little shock to the system. I remember a 229 from, I think, 2024. It closed with Luke Jacobs versus JJ Gow. And it opened, I'm pretty sure, with Leon Slater versus Isaiah. And it was like this, like, it was like having a triple espresso in the morning to wake you up. And then it was like popping another one before you go to bed. And everything in between was interesting storyline. But they were the 2 things. They bookended it.
Yeah.
And I like that every now and then because that's quite a nice little shock to the system. But generally, the cards I like build to the main event. I kind of think of it like very much like a New Japan style of when, not necessarily like your random New Japan show, but like your New Japan pay-per-view from kind of the peak of New Japan. You look at how long the matches last and they creep up. and you look at the intensity of the matches and they creep up. The New Japan of America shows that they did, like 2020, 2021, 22 into 23, I really underrated shows like David Finlay and Jay White and Tanahashi and then all the LA Dojo and Fred Rosser and people like that. Like they were really underrated. And one thing I loved about them was their pacing. This show was just like that. It opened hot with Buzzard and Caven. And I love the fact that they just went out and just went at each other straight away.
100%.
Exactly like they should do, because they don't like each other.
It's not a wrestling match, it's a fight.
There was no lockups. It was like trying to get a cheap shot in on each other because they're pissed off with each other. And then you went into, like, all of the first half was each match adding to what the previous did until you got to the main event of the first half with CPF and Mills and Joshua and then the Oku moment, and you got lots of stuff happening there. And the second half was just like stellar.
Yeah, I mean,
Liam Slater and Trent Seven, then Kanji and Alexis Falcon, then Young Guns and Lykos Gym. I could talk all day about those three matches.
Yeah, you know what, right? And there were some great ones. The one for me, which I was expecting good things, but still managed to over deliver based on high expectations, which is really hard to do because when you've got high expectations, usually they don't meet them. But the one that over delivered was Rhio versus Skye Smitson. I loved that.
Oh, interesting.
I thought that was phenomenal. And what I liked about it was I've always been a fan of Smitson, right? We've spoken about this a lot on here. And what's actually really pleasing to see, I was just having a look because obviously we got her back in Southampton, and she's been involved in every show since Southampton.
One show again tomorrow.
Yeah, one show she wasn't involved in a match in terms of being booked for it, but she was still involved in the show, which was great, right? Because that was
quite a big way as well.
Exactly,
right? Like, that was a big takeaway from that show.
Yeah, and what I loved about this match is Rhio is presented quite rightly as this big powerhouse wrestler, right? And Skye Smitson, you can go two roles with her, right? So we've seen her before in Rev Pro where she does play that Weasley chicken shit kind of heel at times, but I've seen her in Eve, especially where she plays like she is this big, strong wrestler. Okay.
Yep.
Veteran, and that's what we got from her here. They weren't trying to match her up in the sense of she was this Weasley chicken shit heel. She obviously took some tactics, okay, that gave her the upper hand on Rhio, but they
were more like experienced tactics. I felt like
exactly.
Rather than a Caven trying to run away from Leo Rush, it was more like I'm gonna take my time. Yeah, it was cerebral.
I just need to get the upper hand back. Yeah, it's just like a little poke to the eyes or something. Just need to get my get back on this. But yeah, I thought the way that they kind of matched it up so that she looked Rio's equal was really
her facials were really, really good when Rhio started to power up.
Yeah.
There was some striking exchanges where Skye started off the aggressor and Rhio kind of grew into them in the sense that she was taking the best Skye could give, but she wasn't no-selling them, but she was underselling them.
Yeah.
And you could, like, Smitson played it so well because it was like, she's really tough. Like, what am I going to do to level, to get her down a notch?
Yeah.
I think they're doing a really good job with both women. And I'm like, tomorrow we're going to get Kanji versus Skye Smitson.
I can't wait for that.
Like, their match in Sheffield last year was what I think the best Skye Smitson match I've seen. I don't know off the top of my head. I reckon I've probably seen her 15 to 20 times in Rev Pro over the years. And that's the one that sticks out for me. But it's got like this nostalgic feel for me because when I first got into Rev Pro, there was not much of a women's division. It was recovering from the pandemic. Alex Windsor and Kanji were the two women that it was kind of designed to be built around, and both of them were really struggling with injuries. And that's when Skye Smitson came back into the fold. Danny Luna came into the fold. but they were generally working much less experienced wrestlers.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of things like you got like Chantel Jordans and Maya Matthews. You got random like female imports like Maria De La Rosa, who were they're effectively coming in to do a job,
Yeah.
and put on an exhibition, but you were banking on Luna and Smitson, but we never got Smitson and Kanji because the timelines of Kanji's injury and Smitson's run never lined up. So when we got it last year in Sheffield, it felt really familiar, but actually was completely first time ever. To get it 1 year on, like it's been enough time where I'm absolutely ready to watch it again, and it still feels really fresh. But at the same time, you're going in thinking this is going to be class because they're both really good.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at the matches that Smithson did in that period of 2020 and 2021, and interesting. And there's just I love this, right? I love looking at stuff like this in wrestling, seeing where everyone goes to now. But yeah, traded a set of wins with Jamie Hayter.
Yep.
Yeah,
And that was
Hyan as well.
that
Yeah,
what year was that? Was
that
that closed?
2021, the Epic Encounter shows at Portsmouth School of Wrestling.
Yeah, so they're no fan shows, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're the latter half, just before. That must have been just before the first show back in front of fans.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I know that these, yeah, because then you had, so you had those, and then they went to Huntingdon, then they went to Manchester, then they went back to 229. But interestingly, Skye's year in Rev Pro that year, 5 matches. First 2 matches, Jamie Hayter in AEW. Next one, Giselle Shaw, who Impact Wrestling, Maple Leaf Pro, all those everyone knows Giselle Shaw. The next match, Hyan, signed to AEW now. The next match, Giselle Shaw and Hyan. Just the level of competitor that Skye is paired up with.
She always like holds her own in those matches, right?
She does. That's the point. Yeah,
never looks like she's of a lower ability.
No, not at all.
Despite the fact that obviously like those people have gone on to get big contracts. Yeah, it goes to show, doesn't it, that it's there's so many variables that can affect the path that your career takes.
But yeah, that match, I loved it, mate. Loved that match. Like I said, there's a lot of great matches you've just spoken about there, but that would be probably the one that I think will fly under most people's radars that I would.
I was surprised you chose that one. Just no disrespect to anybody involved in it, just because I was so high on other matches.
And you know what? I wouldn't even say it's my favourite match. Just one that I think is going to go, because look, you mentioned there about the CPF and Mills and Joshua. And while there was some bits on stream that kind of lagged out for me, that was really great. Young Guns and Lykos Gym, fantastic. Probably for me the match of the night. But
that was going to be my question, was it?
But yeah.
And here's a question for you: do you? And there's a kind of also a bit of a motivation for this, because after tomorrow's show, I've got to work out what my top 10 of the year so far are to get the project rolling. What was there a difference in quality for you, or investment, or enjoyment between the 2 tag matches we've had, the Portchester Hall, Young Guns and Lykos Gym, and this one?
It's interesting.
Anything that kind of separated them for you?
I think in this one, look, in the last one, if Lykos Gym win, and it comes down to the word we use a lot, right? Jeopardy. In the last one, if Lykos Gym win, then they get a tag title match. And I think that we're in a really interesting position with Young Guns at the moment, in that we might have said this before on camera. I've certainly had this conversation over text with a lot of people, where Young Guns have held the titles it will be coming up to 11 months, right? And normally in wrestling, we're clamoring for people to lose the belt by points. Like, come on, like this run, especially when you've got a more TV style product that Rev Pro has been more than ever in terms of amount of events. And what I also mean by that TV product is we don't just have the regular shows now, right? Linking things through. We have threads going throughout, stories going throughout. So it's not just simply 40 shows a
Yeah.
year where we're booking maybe one big competitor and then everything else gets booked around it. But we've also
And then you
got
add in things like the backstage reactions,
exactly,
which
yeah,
have now become so essential because you've got storyline threads
yeah,
running just through that series.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. So you've got all these different ways they interlink with each other, right? So what
so really, we should be keen for Young Guns to lose the belts now, right? Normally, we would be.
and I think we're also at a really interesting juncture where we've got a stage where if Young Guns was to lose the belts, we could both argue that hey, what we've got here is great in terms of like they've had a really, really, really strongly booked run, but we would probably both go. But I feel like there was still really a lot more to explore here with it as well. And that's a really interesting. And for me, I think that's
It
a sign
is.
of how well booked it is, right? So we've
It is.
got all of that coming into this, all of that coming into this, where if it ended, it would feel too soon, despite also feeling like it's gone on a really great amount of time, really great matches in there. And I kind of thought to myself, is this where it ends? And I was going back and forth on this going into it. They did a really good job throughout the match at giving me the jeopardy I wanted as well. All
Yep,
of
me too.
the lads played off it really well. They did spot, and again, we talk about tropes, right? And there'll be a trope that I'll talk about shortly that I loved that they did on this show. Okay, but there was the trope where they had them in the submissions, or
Hmm.
and then they reversed it. Lykos Gym was suddenly, and I think the way they sold it and actually Young Guns got out of it was fantastic as well. So I think this one slightly edges it because in the first one you've got a scenario where if Lykos Gym win, then they go for the titles. In this
Yep.
one was they're playing up. Actually, they're pretty much the equals of Young Guns here. And then you had the interesting stuff at the end with Lykos and
Very
Liam
interesting stuff, right?
because it's not Lykos 2 that's going with Liam. It's
No.
Lykos. So yeah, there's a lot
And then
of
in the
yeah,
backstage reactions, a Liam Slater apology to Lykos for never meant to cause any friction, just trying to
yeah.
help a mate. And even then being like, right, I'll leave you to it.
Hmm.
See you later, mate. See you later, mate. Oh, I'll see you Tuesday, won't I? Yeah, see you Tuesday. And Lykos being like, why? Why are you seeing him on Tuesday? Like, just
Yeah.
so much stuff. I think it's absolutely testament to their match in Portchester Hall that this one was like, I completely agree. This one was a level up because of the jeopardy,
Yeah.
but the match quality I think was completely on a par.
Yeah. Same.
And that goes to show how good the Portchester Hall show is, because anyone that listens to us a lot or reads anything that I write knows that Jeopardy adds so much to the experience for me.
100%.
You put Jeopardy in a match, and the ceiling is so much higher than when I'm going into a match thinking it doesn't matter how entertaining it is or how good it is. If I'm 99% certain that wrestler A is beating wrestler B, it can only get to here. My thing here is I look at it and I'm like, if this was 2022, when Rev Pro was on a smaller scale, there was less variety of talent being booked. We'd get now Ethan Allen versus Lykos, Young Guns versus Lykos, Ethan Allen versus Lykos 2, Jacobs versus I think I said Young Guns versus
Yeah.
Lykos 2, Jacobs versus Lykos, Jacobs versus Lykos 2, and I would love those matches so much. I don't know if they're possible because there's only 8 spots on a card and there's only so many shows a month.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, I get you. And
I'd love to see any permutations of that, and like just let Young Guns and Lykos Gym could carry. I genuinely believe that they could carry on this all the way through to whatever the first big show of the year is going to be.
yeah.
I don't know what we're going to call them because I hate calling them premium live events.
I I
I
just
can't
refer,
call it a
yeah,
pay-per-view because no one's actually paying to view it. But if we
event
call it like
shows.
the first big, like, yeah, an
Yeah,
event show, the
an event
first
show.
event show
Yeah,
of the year. I like that, event show. The first event show of the year, we could run this all the way through to there because
yeah.
there's so much ability to tell stories between those four wrestlers.
Do you know what I would
I
do? Yeah,
adored both, and unless something crazy happens tomorrow, there'll be match 1 and match 2 on the 10 matches of the year so
yeah.
far, and then we've got 11 months to knock them down.
Yeah, for me, and this might be how I'm just used to like booking. So when I'm thinking about what I really liked about how WWE was booked during the Attitude Era, right? One of the things I really loved in the divisions is divisions had levels, and even within the divisions. And one of the things you had in every division, and this is a trope that I myself take when I'm looking at rosters and play my games, and I do. Every division had within it a top three. Okay,
Yeah,
and I like that, especially in attack, because then you've got like who your these are your top three like overall stars in that division, and you could have your two versus two, but you could have a different permutation. And I go back to WWF during the 2000s, late 90s, and I think tag teams, Dudley's, Edge and Christian, Hardy Boys, right? You had three teams who were at that top level, who worked really well together and had different styles as well. And you can kind of look at Young Guns, CPF, and Lykos Gym, right? So you've got your two tentpole tag teams were booked around last year, and then Lykos Gym could come in and be that third team who can do a bit of everything, right? So they're not just one particular style. I mean, none of these teams are one particular style, but you've got things that can match up well. I would book them strongly this year alongside CPF and alongside Young Guns. I really put the tag division across those three. And
yeah,
there's
and you
already,
think like you can also add the Machine into that as well,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
you've got because they for their current arc to work, they need to win regularly, don't they?
they
So
do, yeah. And
So for them to be like a four kind of four pillars to kind of build that tag team division around this year, because also then you've got lots of tag teams that can lose regularly and not, Flying Bryan Brothers don't lose anything from losing. I don't think Trent and Haskins. I really love the fact that they're back tomorrow as a tag team.
yeah,
And Trent, what a match, by the way, for tomorrow. Just again, I talk about Andy flexing his booking power. When he puts out Haven versus Lando is a big match for tomorrow because it's a title match. Oku versus Mayhew is a big match for tomorrow because they've made it a big match. They've done a video package for it. That's going to be a match that is going to go on. It's going to be a major talking point from tomorrow's show.
yeah.
And you then just pull out Trent and Haskins versus Young Guns, and you think about how good was Luke Jacobs versus Trent Seven last year. Just picture Trent Seven and Ethan Allen wrestling each other. That's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Haskins versus Jacobs, we've never seen in a Rev Pro-Ring.
No, we haven't.
Haskins versus Allen, we've never seen in a Rev Pro-Ring. Don't know if we've seen it anywhere else before.
I'm just checking.
What a brilliant we'll stick this on third, shall we? We'll stick this on after the interval.
Yeah.
It really does go to just the amount of quality that there is available at the moment.
Yeah, I'm with.
But those boys, that to go to circle it back, they can lose, can't they? Haskins and Seven don't need to win every match
they're kind of,
because they can get over in defeat as grizzled veterans who,
yeah,
they're not an established tag team, so that works.
yeah, they're your upper card.
Rising Tide can lose more than they win. And I love the fact that they're back. I really think Shane Hook deserves this. He's done a lot of work. You can see, we know that a lot of the Welsh lads are working with Hunter Mall as a coach and as a nutritionist, and to put the size on.
Yeah,
And he has massively put size on
he
from when we
has.
first saw him to now. And I love the fact that he doesn't wear the top half of his outfit anymore in the ring.
So do
Like,
I. That's such
it
an
makes
upgrade in
such a
presentation.
difference to his presentation.
Yeah,
And also, it's like I always think it like, if you've got a good body, why are you hiding it?
I
Like,
for me it
like
kind of
it's a selling point because
yeah,
wrestling is a visual thing. It is aesthetics.
yeah,
Like show off the fact that you're putting on the muscle.
yeah. I what I like is that with him beforehand, and again, this doesn't sound like disrespectful or anything like that, but I felt that what it was a bit too like generic, almost a bit too much like Captain America-y or Power
Yeah,
Rangers-y. And what I actually felt it did, and I don't know why, it was just how it looked. It made him look, even though he's a baby face, it made him look even younger. And it made
yes,
him look shorter to me as well. I don't know what it was. It just made him
yeah,
just feel smaller. And now he's just like you said, putting the size on. It feels like he got a bit more swag about him and how he comes across now as
yeah.
well. Yeah,
I agree with all those points, mate. All of them.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for that tomorrow. Um, it's an
Rio,
interesting dynamic as well because it's Rising Tide versus Mills and Joshua, right?
yeah,
And it's like this is where reality and storyline and what's canon and what's not canon
hmm
is quite blurred. Someone made a point to me the other day. They said, I really don't like it when wrestling companies don't acknowledge what wrestlers are doing in other companies. And my thought on it was, I think it very much depends on if what that wrestler is doing in another company can work as canon for your company, if it
yes,
exists in your universe, or if it doesn't.
hmm
And Jay Joshua, obviously a Welsh wrestler, travels with Shane Hook and Leon Cage when they come to shows, looks at them as like his little brothers. So, do we get that canonized tomorrow?
hmm
Do we get a bit more respect? Like a handshake, a smile, picking them up at the end, patting them on the arse and sending them on their way after we assume Mills and Joshua are going to beat them because that's the pecking order. And
yeah, yeah,
if it was a real sport, who would you be putting your money on tomorrow? The two big arse kicking badasses, right?
hmm
Rather than the two young plucky underdogs. And if so, if we do get Joshua leaning into that, does Mills go the other way? Because at Portchester Hall, Mills helped Joshua win.
hmm
It never looked like Joshua called for that. It never looked like that was a pre-planned thing. It looked like Joshua was as surprised as Oku was with what happened. Jay didn't seem to care. It's not like he was upset about it.
yeah.
But there was a moment of awkwardness between them.
Of course, yeah,
And that's been teased now. And I do think at some point we will get Mills versus Jay for the belt in some, whether that is Mills wins the right and it's a competitive match between two mates, or whether that is the complete opposite and Mills does what Mills does and turns on Jay like he turned on Oku. But yeah, like even then, so here's a match where there's not a lot of jeopardy for me. I'm pretty certain I know who's winning it, but there's real intrigue in how the dynamic works, and that's what I'll be watching for.
yeah. And I think this, yeah, and that's it. It's like if you don't have the Jeopardy, you've got to have something in there that like hooks you. And
Yeah,
I think this, yeah, this has got a lot of that. I think the person that comes out of this looking the biggest winner tomorrow of everyone is Shane Hook,
yep,
because we've got Mills and Joshua are like firmly established in Rev Pro. So's Leon, and I think sometimes people like are so enamored with how great Leon is that they hold him as the standard bearer. And I
yeah.
think Shane Hook is 100% on Leon's level. right?
Well,
From
it's
what
really
I've
funny,
seen.
right? Spike down in Southampton, good mate. He's always gone. He's followed New Wave from the start,
Hmm.
um, and he's always said to me that Shane was here and Leon was here, and then Shane was injured, and Leon did that, and that it was that Shane to begin with was the level above.
Hmm.
And that's one of those ones where you're like, at the moment, the way Leon is presented to how Shane is presented is very much like, Leon's the
Yeah,
boy. Like
yeah,
he's the golden goose of
yeah.
he's the next Leon Slater. But it just goes to show that like there's so much potential, right? Because we know that injuries take a long time to get back to your best from.
Hmm.
And especially when it is an injury that comes in the early stages of your career, because it can really set you back and set you back with confidence. So
Yeah.
I'm really, really pleased that he's getting the opportunities. And when you look at it, over the last, I would say, 6 to 8 shows, Shane Hook's been on more shows than he's not been on.
Absolutely. You
So it
made a
goes to
really
show that it's not just us that are high on him. It's Andy and Craig that are booking the talent that are
yeah.
high on them too.
You made a really good point there where you said about Leon getting almost like being the next Leon Slater, right? Kind of getting
Yeah.
not necessarily that push. I think what we can,
SmackDown
yeah,
US champion,
yes,
title
I was,
challenger,
I
Leon Slater.
forgot to say that. Yeah, that was incredible. I didn't look. I don't watch WWE. I've said that a lot. I just the product doesn't really. But last night, I always like to put on when it's in the UK, just see do I recognize any of these people.
Yeah.
And
Was it a good show? Did you enjoy it?
Matt, I didn't really watch it. Like I literally had it on the
You
background.
just
It was
had it on to be like, ooh,
it was literally
nothing
yeah.
jumped out at you.
It was literally a background show, and I watched none of the in ring because generally it doesn't bother me. And it was when the in ring stopped. That's when I was the thing that I got more off it. Oh my god, was they have this sound they play during like their adverts because obviously it's when it's live, it's done for
I know
America.
exactly the noise you mean.
Mate, that fucked me off. Like, I felt like I heard that. Like I was, yeah, it's one of those tunes you end up just starting to hum because it's like so repetitive. It's
Yeah.
like, but no, I saw.
Mate, I have not watched a wrestling show on TV, anything on TV now, for I don't know how long. I can't, but long enough for me to say I can't remember what the last show I was that I watched on.
Mm.
It would have been one of the New Japan shows, but I didn't watch Wrestle Kingdom. I messed up the timings of my day, and the results have been spoiled by the time I was ready to watch it, and I wasn't that invested anyway.
Mate,
I wanted to watch Suji versus Takeshita, and I wanted to watch
Yeah.
Tanahashi versus Okada, and both had been spoiled. And I thought, well, in that case, what I'll do is I'll watch them in 6 weeks' time when I'll watch the New Japan Cup.
Yeah.
So I'll watch them on the build to the New Japan Cup. But I'm quite enjoying having a nice proper break from watching wrestling at home.
I get what you
I've
mean.
been watching The Traitors. I watched House of Dragon. I watched Rings of Power. I watched TV, mate. I haven't watched TV in years.
Traitors has been fantastic, mate. It has been.
Mate, I adore it.
Yeah.
We need a Traitors podcast.
Yeah. Maybe that's what we do. Yeah, that can be our.
So many thoughts.
I have my cloak, mate.
Oh, mate, we'd be such good Traitors.
I've almost applied for it once or twice. I'm not gonna lie. And then I did.
Well, I have.
Have you?
Yeah. I've applied for the next season, but it's I can't remember. I read a statistic or I read a speculative number.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but it was nuts. It was thousands and thousands and thousands, like big thousands of people that applied, and obviously like 22 people get picked for it.
Yeah.
But it was one of those ones where when you're doing the application, you can feel yourself literally ticking the boxes.
Yeah.
They obviously want certain types of people.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
but they ask really interesting questions. So like
I might do it. Yeah.
the box ticking was things like I got to tick like, do you consider yourself to have a disability? And I was like, no. And then they listed all the disabilities, and I was like, oh, actually, yeah, I do. I ticked the ADHD box, and then I ticked another one because it was like mental health, and I was like, well, yeah, I suffer from depression, so that's me there. So there's little things like that where you're like that edges me forward a little bit.
And we know how much you love it, Jim.
Then when you get the questions which were like, what's the best lie you've ever told? Who did you say it to, and how long did you keep it alive for?
Oh, yeah.
What's the best secret you've ever kept? And like, mate, I was revealing my deepest, darkest secrets, and you're like, shit, actually, like, I've lived. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I've lived. I've been through stuff. Like, from, fun but eventful childhood.
Yeah.
To, like all sorts of stuff with, alcohol issues and mental health issues and therapy and like all sorts of stuff. And you're like, well, that probably means that I'm put ahead of half the boring people that apply for it.
Yeah.
It still means that there's like a 1 in 10,000 chance or something, but you got to be in it to win it, haven't you?
I mean, I wouldn't be able to apply for it this year. Haven't got 4 weeks left of holiday I can use from work. That's the annoying thing. Oh, mate. But no, to cut right. So I'm going to circle back around to where we were because
big circle background.
So, but what I was going to say,
let's talk about a traitor in Rev Pro.
Before we do that, when you do go back to watch your New Japan stuff, you need to watch Shuri versus Saya Kamatani. It's about 10 minutes long, mate. One of the best wrestling matches I've seen this year.
Oh, really? Oh, cool. Because that was one that I don't really know either of them very well.
Neither do I.
I've also watched the similar matches that New Japan have put on in the past, which are always of a really high in-ring standard, but they don't get given the prominence, the time to really hit the higher gears.
And what these two women did is they basically speed run a 20-minute match, but they did it in a way that wasn't speed running it and it just felt rushed. They speed run it in a way that felt aggressive.
The classic Rey Mysterio versus Kurt Angle, right?
Yeah, this just felt like a
10-minute match that had 20 minutes worth of action in it that never felt like it was being rushed.
I think Meltzer rated this one, 4.5 star.
From 10 minutes.
Yeah, for me it got like It got a 3.75, and that was on the basis of this could have had so much more, and I came away feeling very satisfied from it. So do watch that. But yeah, and I felt I was going to get.
Let's face it. If in Rev Pro we had traitors, it'd be David Francisco, Kelly Six, and Josh James, right?
It would, mate. It would, and David would definitely be the. Well, no. Josh James would be the secret traitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, because no one was
playing his role really well, I feel.
Yeah, he is.
Kelly Six is like the dickhead cheerleader, he's so smug and annoying that you just want to punch him in the face.
I think as well.
And that's exactly what he's trying to get across in it.
I'm going to talk. I want to talk a bit about Kelly Six, actually, right? So I've said before on here that before his comeback, I wasn't particularly keen on seeing Kelly Six, right? And not everything on the card has to be for me. Okay, I understand that completely.
Also, what reason did you have to be really keen to see him come back, right?
Because, and I'll tell you the reason I didn't is because the last 2 or 3 matches I've ever seen him, I just didn't think he was up to the standard that I felt the rest of the card were. Okay, gonna be very blunt about that. This is a really interesting spot for him tomorrow, and I think is one that is probably a lot more pressured than people think, because he has come back in a really, really strong way. Okay, so in terms of singles matches, Kelly's had 2 singles matches since he's come back. Luke Jacobs and Kuro. Both incredible matches, and made me sit up and take notice. Okay, I say that whatever I felt beforehand did not feel like that coming out of those matches.
Yeah, Robbie
Uh,
X in Sheffield as well.
oh, sorry, yes, I forgot about that one. Yes, yes. So, but we're talking about the creme de la creme, right?
Yeah,
And I'm not saying that
yeah. I mean,
JJ
that
is.
just adds to your
Yeah,
point, right?
yeah. I'm not saying that JJ is not on that level, but I do think those lads, all of them, Kuro included, are that step above where JJ is right now for me.
Heroes definitely Hero in Southampton, wasn't it?
Yes.
So, like, to kind of contextualize it, Hero in Southampton, you've got big character, first time he's ever been there. There's a lot of fans in Southampton. Southampton's a really mixed bag, but there is a good chunk of fans in Southampton who are very aware, so they'd be excited to see him.
Mm-hmm.
Hero comes out like an absolute star, and then he's got the in-ring to back it up.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we're in Coventry, which is growing, and it's becoming a really, really good place to go. But normally, the start of the shows are quite quiet. So is this going to go on near the start of the show, in which case they've got a really good big job to lift it? JJ is still finding his way of lifting the crowd in those quiet moments.
Mm-hmm.
He's really, really good at the entrance and the start of the show match, but can he lift them in the middle of the match when there's a lull, like someone like a Shah Samuels or a Trent Seven can? When they can feel the crowd's gone a bit quiet, I want to do something that wasn't planned to make them get up, like to get their volume up.
Yeah.
I do think it. I agree with you. I do think it is an important match for him tomorrow.
And also, what I really like about Kelly is that, like you said, the character work, right? It always is nice when it feels like it's not difficult for them to do. And having spoken to this bloke, right? I've spoken to him a couple of times. I've spoken to him. You would not believe that he's got this in him to be able to pull this out of the bag, right? Which even then, like the difference being, like we've always said, like about Robbie X, right? You chat to Robbie X at Merge, and he's got banter about him, right? Where you can see that you can see how that switch happens very easily. With Kelly Six, can't see that at all, but that's a testament again to the work he's doing. I like he's got a unique look. Like his hair is such a unique look as well. That it's not just a normal slick back, cut short, whatever it is. It's like you look at the picture, you go, "Oh, I recognize that guy straight away," because he's got something interesting about him.
He puts so much thought into everything as well, doesn't he? Like you can really see that. This means the world to him, and so everything from what he wears to what he says to every single moment that happens in the match in the ring has been, he's thinking about it all week.
Yeah,
it's not
clearly
like I'd imagine some wrestlers are at a stage where they turn up on the day, they run for a match in 20 minutes before the show starts, and then they go out and they deliver it, and then afterwards they're like, "Yeah, I'm pleased with that. That was a good match," and everyone else is like, "Yeah, that was like another really good match from Wrestler X." But I feel like Kelly's like thinking about it on and Francisco's the same. Like they're thinking about it on a bigger level. It means each match, every single match, means more than the average match does to the average wrestler.
Yeah. Yeah.
My only thing that I'll say, I haven't said this yet, because I never ever want to sound negative, but I would say that with the new Sons of Southampton so far, my one kind of critique would be presentation, what they do after the match, the reactions, the promos. At the moment, are all a slight level above what they do bell to bell. And I'm looking for the bell to bell to be as equally entertaining as the rest of the package for them to get to a stage where you're like, new Sons of Southampton are on the card. I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be, the way that I might talk about the fact of how excited I am to see Haskins, Trent, and Young Guns tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like the way I could be purring over that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not purring over Kelly Six versus JJ Gao in the same way. I'm excited for it and I'm intrigued for it, but I'm not as certain it's going to be a delivery. But I'm really hoping it is. I really want it for both the guys. And I feel like all it takes is, I feel like we're going to get JJ versus Kelly, and then JJ versus Josh James. Both those matches, if they both deliver well, and then we get some kind of multi-man match involving the New Suns that delivers really well, the doubt in my head goes, and I'm really, really happy. I just feel like everything just needs to be a little bit tighter in the ring.
Yeah, I think that's a really fair critique, and I think even what you said earlier about JJ with like the entrances, like it all starts really hot. There's that little bit, and one of the things that I've noticed that he's gotten a lot better with over time. But JJ was the one you used to go, huh, 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 like you'd hear that a lot, right? And that's it. You've got to find your way to engage the crowd as you get more experience. And I'm really intrigued to see what this little run in Japan's done, because some of the people he's been working. I mean, he's fucking worked with like tags with Masato Tanaka, right? Like, fair play to the lad. Like, I want to see what he's picked up
He
there
looked
and how he brings it back.
massive in Sheffield as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, the boy's been eating his spinach over Christmas. Like,
He really
Popeye.
He has. Yeah. And
funny story.
Yeah.
I was chatting to the woman at work the other day who does the community bookings for the school.
Yeah.
So she, we're a community school. We're in the centre of our community. It's a big building, and it's quality. Like it's a £26 million building, which was built 15 years ago. So God knows how much that would cost today.
Yeah.
With a 15 million quid like second building, like smaller one, which is for our sixth form just outside. We've got like national level netball courts. We've got the state of the art football. I don't even know what it's called anymore. Is it 5G pitches or whatever they are?
Yeah.
But the sort of thing where like literally if you hire our football for the evening, we have like a security dude who checks your footwear when you arrive to make sure that you've got the appropriate footwear to go on our pitch. Like that's how high. It's like we've got like private school facilities for a state school, which is nice. Anywho, I'm chatting to her, and she's the woman who came. She came to Coventry last time. Her little boy loves wrestling. She came and watched it, and she was like, "You'll never guess what." And I was like, "What's that?" She's like, "A wrestling company's booked our school to run a show." And I was like, "Amazing! What are they going to use like the main hall? Because we talked about it before. Could you get a ring in there and all that?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "Yeah, it's Grand Slam wrestling." And JJ Gow is the Grand Slam wrestling champion.
Yeah.
So I literally messaged him like the other day, just being like, "Mate, I think you're coming to my school." He was like, "Yeah, like this is wicked. Like I'm gonna absolutely pack that place out with kids from school." So I was showing kids at school like JJ Gow, like pictures of JJ Gow and stuff, and I realised that all the photos I've got of him that are like I literally have photos in my room of like when you open my cupboards at the back, it's like an Aladdin's cave of wrestling stuff. It's like just a little insight into the fact that we're all human and we don't just, I'm not just Mr. Martian. Like I'm a bloke as well. I've got kids, I've got a wife, I've got a life. I love football and wrestling and all this jazz. And you're looking at pictures of him from like 2022, 2023, and you're like, wow, he is put on serious work. Serious work. And I feel like JJ's had like a slower trajectory than others. Because he's come up and he's done it all. Contender, Portsmouth School of Wrestling trainee, working his way. Whereas other people have just hot-shotted in because of this immense natural talent and charisma. And JJ's been working on it and crafting on it over time. But sometimes we don't, because we see it every week. We don't stop and take stock and let's look at picture A and picture B and look how far this lad's come.
Absolutely. And I think that's the bit that I think he really needs to crack this year, I think, is the not necessarily promo ability, but that ability to connect. And I think he has an ability to connect with people, but that just to make it a bit more well-rounded in, when I say the entertainment skills, right? You see the natural charisma, something that, like you said, I don't think everyone needs to be able to like be top level, like microphone to go out there, and because we've had this conversation, I think, about certain wrestlers where we go, well, can they go out there and can they hold a crowd on the microphone on a promo for a bit? And I don't think there's many at this level that can do it in the way that Michael Oku can or a David
Yeah.
Francisco can, but you need to have the right level, and I think JJ could just do that a bit more. So I think you're right. This match has such an important like trajectory potentially for everyone involved. Everyone involved in this could come out of this looking so much stronger and kickstart where they're going. And as we're moving closer to Wembley, again, Wembley Arena, where Friday night SmackDown took place. Just saying, that's crazy.
You've got to put the biggest stars with the in the biggest spots on that card, right?
Yeah, there is no sentimentality to be had here.
No, and it's not just a case of everyone's working towards getting on that card, because I would expect JJ Gale to be on the Wembley card.
Yes.
In fact, I would be shocked if he wasn't. But I don't think getting on the Wembley card is what JJ Gale was working towards. I think it's him being in one of the prominent matches.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, if we think back to the Copper Box 2023, if in a few years' time we're trying to recall every match that happened on Copper Box 2023, the first time they ran that show, we'll all remember Shingo and Ospreay, and we'll all remember Jacobs and Ishii. I wonder if in a few years' time we remember that Dan Maloney wrestled Leon Slater, or if we'll remember who Velocities versus Subculture. Like,
God,
you want to be in a really prominent spot, don't you? You want to be wrestling for a title, and Velocities and Subculture were wrestling for a title, but I don't think that had any of the investment in it that that even Young Guns, any of Young Guns' title defenses have had. I don't think. I think the Young Guns run has been so far ahead of the Subculture run. So yeah, I feel like that's kind of it, isn't it? It's like Kelly will be working towards getting on the Wembley show. JJ will be working towards being in a prominent spot for the Wembley show, and that's kind of where everybody is now.
Yeah. I'm really intrigued as well with Oku and Mayhew. I think that is. And you know what I'm really loving about RevPro, and actually, while we're still on Sons of Southampton, this is where I call out one of the things I really loved. Okay, so David Francisco versus Leon Cage, right? So we have
thought of you as soon as it happened.
Yeah, we have said about this, right? Tropes, right? And look, call out to some friends who I've had these conversations with as well, who say, "Hey, look, when we talk about tropes, tropes aren't inherently bad. We've said this as well." And sometimes when you watch wrestling to the level that we do, the amount of wrestling we do for how long we've watched it, sometimes tropes become that because you've just had so much more exposure to it, right? And the one that fucking gets me is the 9 up in a dive, right? There is no jeopardy for me whatsoever because that happens every single time, and that happened on this show, and I think it happened in this match. They did the 9. I was like, oh, right, okay. And then they did a count out finish. And I was like, that is how you do it. You straight away, you've established a scenario where you are showing that there's a trope that can exist, and you're showing that trope can also be defeated.
Yeah.
So it means that next time they do it, it doesn't mean that it's definitely going to be that.
Yeah. And it didn't feel cheap in the slightest.
No.
Because it was perfect for the storyline. And even more so, we had 7 matches on this card. We had pinfalls, submissions, count-outs, and a disqualification.
Yeah.
You've got all sorts of different finishes there, and every single finish worked perfectly for every single match. Liam Slater making Trent Seven submit massively works for Liam Slater.
Yeah.
It takes nothing away from Trent Seven.
No, and I think
having Kanji disqualified, so Alexis Falcon gets a DQ win, which is so cheap for her, but works because she is cheap, isn't she? That's her thing. She's a bitch. Like, she'll take whatever she can get. It's just out for herself, just wants to get further for herself. Kanji losing her shit and losing control, getting disqualified, putting hands on Sandy Beaches, putting hands on Elvin Narayan, like that is a great finish.
Yeah.
Because you're like, this is interesting for Kanji's arc. It adds to Alexis Falcon. Alexis Falcon is in line to be a title challenger, the same way that Will Caven was, and is, now getting a title match. That's great. We want a women's title match sooner rather than later, please. And if we're going into it, I don't think Will Caven's beating Joe Lando tomorrow.
No.
But I like the fact that we're getting a title match, and I like the fact that Joe Lando gets to add another notch to his list. I don't like it when a title changes hands and you look at it and you're like, they only defended it once.
Yeah.
And recently, titles have been defended a lot more than they used to be. When you actually look at the lineage of all the titles, it's actually quite common to lose a title after 2 or 3 defenses, sometimes even on the first one or the second one.
Yeah.
But here, it's not like we're just giving anybody a title shot.
Yeah.
People are earning them, but there's clearly a bigger picture of let's have this person building up so they can get that title match while we build this person up so they get the next title match. There's longer term thinking, which I really, really enjoy.
Yeah.
And I like that variety. The one finish that I really, we're going to put it out there now. You put out the count out finish. I want a knockout, please. I want a knockout finish to really put over one of our real heavy hitters. There are times when Jay Joshua hits somebody with a headbutt, or when Luke Jacobs hits somebody with a forearm, where it really is like a fucking hell moment. Like, geez, let that be the finish.
Jay's diving headbutt, yeah.
Let the ref call it off. We don't have to do it every time because, and this is something that needs to be stressed. Like Anthony Ogogo when he was in AEW, it's like if he punched you once, you were out. Well, that can't work. Long term, that can't be your approach to sustainable Anthony Ogogo professional wrestler because he's going to have matches where he can't just knock somebody out or one like liver punch and they're out, one kidney shot and they're out. But in boxing, you don't land every punch as you intend to. So Jay does a lot of headbutts. In a match, you'll normally see 3 or 4 headbutts from him. All we need is one of them to land so much so that it knocks somebody out.
Yeah.
And then you can do it once every 6 months. You think how often Jay Joshua wrestles for Rev Pro in a 6-month period, that every 6 months somebody can get knocked out from it. And a knockout, I think a knockout is one of the most convincing finishes because anybody can get knocked out.
Yeah.
You didn't submit. You didn't get pinned. If Michael Oku gets knocked out, it's the referee who said you're not fit to continue. He can then lean back and be like, well, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
I was fine. You got it wrong. I didn't have to go to the hospital. I wasn't concussed. And it leads to another match. It's something I'd love to see.
Yeah. I'm really intrigued. So we've covered the show, like last week's show and what we've got coming up in good fashion there, Dave. One of the things that I'm really looking forward to seeing when we speak next week, and you covered it slightly there, was the progression in this mean streak of Kanji. Because I feel that adds so much. So we've had the conversation last week about JGU, didn't we, in terms of like dynamics, and we've always said in Rev Pro heels and faces and stuff like this, and operators of the shades of grey and all of this jazz. And I was having a conversation with someone who said, I think there's money in a Kanji heel turn. I'm like, I don't. I just
I don't either.
But I do think there is money in morally conflicted, aggressive Kanji.
Yep.
And
I think that there is we've done it quite a lot now in Rev Pro, where we tease something and then we bring it round again. CPF, are they splitting up? No, we're back together. Sunshine Machine, are we splitting up?
Yeah.
No, we're back together. Oku, is he turning heel? No, we're back together. And at some point, someone actually has to split up and somebody actually has to turn. But but I don't think it's Kanji. I think
No,
Kanji, we can lean that way, but bring a background.
I love this story of Kanji, of her being more aggressive, getting disqualified, stuff like this, stuff where she's not inherently bad. She doesn't
Yeah,
change her code of who she is, but has
no.
some introspection as to
But
what.
is anybody in Rev Pro a pure babyface? Leon Cage, maybe.
Leon Cage.
Leon Cage, I don't think has done anything ever in a Rev Pro ring that leans the other way.
Yeah, you know what, I was about to say another one, and
Can't think
actually,
of anyone else that we can say that for.
I was even going to say JJ Gale, but even
But
then,
then I'd say JJ was a
in
dick to
the
David
in yeah,
Francisco at
yeah,
times.
I was just gonna, yeah, that
And Nino Bryan has had moments of arrogance.
yeah,
You know, like, and that's it, right? We're all three-dimensional characters. Literally, it's an innate part of the human nature, isn't it? That we are different sides of our personality at different times. And that's what I like. I the 90s good guys and bad guys is so far removed from where we are today.
yeah.
That this, for me, creates such a more interesting spectacle.
That was something I really struggled with actually when doing our end of year awards. Was the babyface and heel category, because the first year we did it, it felt like it was a bit more natural and who was getting nominated for each. But actually, this year it was, when it came to heels, it was difficult because, like you said,
because but isn't that like classic? I've never been a big comic book guy, but isn't that, from what I understand, an important part of all comic book villains, that there is something within them that explains why they are the way they are?
Yeah.
Like I just watched the Joaquin Phoenix Joker films.
Oh yeah, I've not watched the second one yet, but I've watched the first one.
Well, it's funny because I read all the shit reviews of the second one, and I was like, well, I'm going to put it on because I really like the first one, and just because other people don't like it doesn't mean I won't like it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was brilliant. So, different flavors of ice cream for different people, right?
Exactly. I mean, I said this about the Stranger Things ending. Everyone was fucking slating that online. I'm like, what was wrong with this? This was really fun.
I think my missus is literally watching it right now.
Yeah, I was like, that was
she was falling asleep. So she's been binge watching it.
Yeah.
And I said to her last night, we watched The Traitors, and then we went up to bed, and I went in the kitchen and I tidied up the kitchen because I cooked last night, so I did the dishwasher and all that. So she had a head start. She put the kids to bed, and then I came up. And I was like, did you finish it? Did you like it? And she was like, no, like, I've decided to stop with the last episode because I'm too tired to enjoy it. And I want to watch it when I feel fresh. So I'm pretty sure she's watching it literally in the room behind me right now. So once we've finished here, I'll go and ask her what she thought of it.
Yeah, nice. If you've not done so already, mate, you need to source, I think this might be on BBC, season 1 of The Traitors New Zealand. It was either Australia or New Zealand. I think it's New Zealand. Phenomenal. Yeah. One of the best series of The Traitors ever.
Actually, that's quite interesting. I don't normally like watching like MasterChef Australia or things like this.
Interesting.
But actually, with The Traitors, I love the concept and the game of The Traitors so much that I might really enjoy that.
I watched MasterChef Australia, but not UK.
Oh, really? Yeah, I know a few people that say that. I love playing poker. I used to play poker every month with a group of lads, and the only reason I don't anymore is because it fucking is the longest game in the world. We'd start playing at 8 o'clock in the evening after we'd all finished work on a Friday night, and I'd never ever get home before 1 a.m. And then sometimes it'd be 2 a.m., sometimes it'd be 3 a.m., and you're like, I'm fucked for the weekend now. Like, I'm too old for getting a few hours sleep. But when I'm watching Traitors, I'm like, this is like poker without the cards.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much bluffing and trying to read people and trying to call people's bluff and trying to manipulate like it's like when you get a good hand in poker, you start off with something, and then your free cards, the flop come out, and you look at it and you're like, I'm onto it here. The ability to tease everybody to commit money and then take it at the end that's how you do well in poker. Because if you go big with I've got something, everyone's going to be like, well, he's got something, so I'm backing off, and you just win. You win small change. You've got to not reveal what you've got and get people to believe that they can win it and then power them at the end. And that is literally traitors, isn't it? Like, you're trying to draw them into the end and then rob them at the end. And I love it, mate. I love it.
Right, I've got some. There's another one as well, and it was on Channel 4. What was it called? I'm trying to. I'll find the name of it, but there was this one on Channel 4, like where it's a very similar thing to Traitors, but effectively, if you won your the Inheritance, it was called. That was the name.
Yeah. I remember this.
Yeah, that was kind of Traitorsy, but you've got to like take money from people. Yeah.
Oh, mate.
Right.
So, are you watching from home tomorrow? I take it.
Are we watching? Yes, I'm not making the trip to Coventry.
When is your next live Rev Pro show?
Mine will be Southampton, mate. I'm really trying to cut back on the amount of shows I'm going to this year. I've got
Southampton. Southampton must be next month, mustn't it?
February, yeah.
Because this year's super simple, basically, isn't it? Like almost every other month. If Sheffield and Coventry are in 1 month, means Southampton's in the next month.
Exactly. Yeah. So
and we've got that, and then we've got other shows peppered about, and I know there's lots to be announced from secret conversations this week. I'm excited for, but I will let Andy do his thing of rocking everybody's world when he shares some big news. But yeah, like he's been teasing. We know we've got a big northern show at some point, don't we? Did he say May?
He said so. Yeah. So what he said was
what he said to us, wasn't it?
It was it's the Maybank holiday. Something big. Something, as he put it, something stupid.
Yes, that was it, wasn't it? That was it.
And I was a bit worried. I'm not going to lie, because that Maybank holiday weekend, I have plans on the Saturday, and it looks like potentially, if Andy's hooking me the way I think he might be hooking me, it looks like potentially I'm going to be going to a music festival at Hatfield on the Saturday, and then driving up north the following morning.
Where's Hatfield?
Hatfield is where is it? Hertfordshire.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't think it's a million miles away from me. I mean, it's between me and London.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, everything's north from you, mate.
Yeah, and so it'd be finish up. It'd be finish up there, driving out to find a motorway hotel, I think, and then.
Yeah, but the fact that, Andy said, isn't it, that we're going to go back to Cardiff, and he alluded to the fact that wasn't going to be for like a one-off. Like, we're going to go back to Cardiff a few times this year, so. Immediately it's like, ooh, like,
exciting
new towns, new cities, more miles on the car, all good stuff.
Right, my friend, let's call it there.
Let's call it there, bro. See you later, man.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.